and welcome to another episode of the Heartland Franchise Guy, your insider's guide to all things franchising and small business in the local area. I'm Blake Martin, local small business franchise owner and your Heartland Franchise Guy. This is the place for advocacy, resources, and education on all things small business franchising in the local area. And this is a great place for any aspiring or existing entrepreneur to learn a little bit more about the franchising industry. And have we got an episode for you? You will listen to this one at least one time. First of all, I want to share something on more of a personal note. This will be the second to last episode that we record of the Heartland Franchise Guy. I try to take the advice that I give my guests and that I give our listeners, and that is sometimes as your business evolves, you have to pivot and grow. And sometimes that means saying yes and no to things that are important to you, but you have to move on to grow. So at least in the form it is today, and at least for a period of time, we're recording our last couple of episodes today, and we could not have chosen a better guest or topic, because the guest and the topic are all about everything you know and are about to experience about how to direct yourself through researching franchise opportunities is about to change. Everything. Who we have with us is somebody who has been in this industry for decades, has been a trainer of folks who help people find the right franchise, and Tracy Rickman, who is a FranNet franchise owner and has also been a driving force behind the creation of a new product called QualiFYI. Tracy, thank you very much for joining us today. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Blake, and I'm so happy to be your second to last guest.
Well, absolutely. I couldn't make you the last one because I know you're going to cry at some point during this episode. So.
Well, I got my tissues, so good.
So, being on the inside of this industry, I'm really excited about this. And people are going to think, well, yeah, he's just a franchise consultant nerd, so who cares? But really what this is all about, you kind of go back, right, to for people of a certain age, certainly of my age, you remember a time when there was no internet, right? Like, what was the easiest way to get a solution to a question you had? Well, you had to dig through the encyclopedias. You remember a time when it seemed odd and unusual, and why on earth, how could it possibly be convenient to purchase something off the internet or the World Wide Web? Or a time when the only solution when you wanted to get somewhere not on your own was to call a taxi. Well, now, if you want to get somewhere on your own researching franchise opportunities, we have QualiFYI.
We do.
You've been a part of this groundbreaking technology, which has a lot to do with other groundbreaking technologies that we've all been hearing about in the news for a while. Can you start, Tracy, by telling us what is this QualiFYI product?
So QualiFYI is an AI-enabled product that allows people to go out and research franchising. So from the very beginning, what is a franchise? What is franchising? How many franchises are there? All the way through to the nitty-gritty. What's an FDD? What is each item of an FDD? Do I need to hire an attorney? Do I need a franchise consultant? How do I do this? They can do that all on their own, at their own pace, and ask questions and get answers, instead of maybe what people are used to seeing is frequently asked questions on a website.
Well, that's a pretty thorough response. Who is this going to benefit? Who would utilize this, or who is and are the early adopters of this product?
The early adopters are typically the younger generation and the younger demographics. But who could use this and utilize it? Honestly, everyone. Do you know that 70% of people, when they're ready to buy something or make a decision, go to the internet to do research first? What if there was a place, one place, to go and ask all questions about franchising before you were even ready to pick up the phone and talk to you? But they wanted to learn more about franchising, maybe pre-qualify themselves, see if franchising was right for them and if they could qualify to buy a franchise, as well as possibly get some matches and then get matched up with a franchise consultant if they had questions along the way.
Wow. Okay. So being the natural skeptic, if you will, myself, how do people know that they're getting the right answers? Like, what is this based on? How do we, anybody that's used ChatGPT, they're like, okay, well, sometimes the right answer isn't the first answer, and I got to figure out how to answer the question in a more better way.
Right. So like we would go Google, and everyone knows that those first results on Google are paid search, right?
Thank you.
So they're probably not exactly what you're looking for. We go to ChatGPT, great resource because it puts the question or the answer to form your question and answers you instead of popping something else up. But it's based on information from the internet prior to 2019. So when you go into MyQualiFYI and you take a look at what's going on, what you're going to see is an idea of a ChatGPT. So that engine, that AI, that you can ask a question and it'll answer it, but in a confined knowledge base. So focus primarily on franchising, because that's what we do. Being a skeptic, though, I'm with you, because a year and a half ago, when I was asked to kind of shift and spend a little bit more time on this project, I was a big doubter. How can we do this? There are so many websites out there that promise to match you. We're going to match you in 3 questions. We're going to match you in 5. It's a little bit like Name Your Tune, but it doesn't really match. It's someone is paying to be matched with somebody who answers the question. On MyQualiFYI, we're matching based on 35 years of FranNet's history. 17,000 candidates that we've been through. We can go through and actually tell you if you're qualified to buy a franchise. Find out what kind of owner you're going to be, just like if you were meeting with us in the office, and then match you with franchises where you are most like top performers. And no one's paying to be on our website. It's truly a matching protocol based on what we know in our history.
So the benchmark, so to speak, the comparison to help you work through and figure out, is this right for you? And if so, what within it is right for you, like what franchise? That's based upon, if I'm understanding correctly, 17,000 success stories in the history of our organization, FranNet, who's helped build this and is behind this. Correct.
So it's not just, what do you want to do? And let's check some boxes. Mm-hmm. It's all of those analytics, all of those metrics, all of those successful business owners, putting that into an AI tool with our knowledge and what we need to do, and then matching those people accordingly.
Does this feel like, or will people have the same experience as if they're asking a question of ChatGPT?
It's the same idea. They're going to type a question in and they're going to receive a response, but it's not going to be exactly the same as ChatGPT, because instead of going out to the internet and just pulling anything that says franchise, we're based in a confined knowledge base. And the knowledge base, again, goes back to our 35 years history of placing people in franchises. So that is there. In addition to all the franchisors have put together information or knowledge base, and that's what we're using to match people.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, all those franchisors and what they're looking for in the right franchise owner, which can be very different from what we might think it is until you understand what success looks like in their organization.
Exactly. And it's a very democratic model. It's based on fit. It is not based on, we're going to show this concept because they pay to advertise. It's really very much based on who's coming to the site. The same way we would in our office, right?
Yeah.
What's the fit? Not what's my favorite franchise, not what's hot at the moment, not the new and upcoming thing, but what's the right fit for you and the goals that you're trying to achieve.
Is this something that's like rolled out in live? Is it in beta? Is it something that people can go to now?
So it's rolled out live and people can go to, but I would highly recommend, if someone's interested in going through it, is they reach out to you and you can send them a link to the website, as we're still making a few tweaks and changes before we actually throw it up there on Google.
Gotcha. And so to connect those dots, anybody who's a newer listener, you can just scan the QR code on the screen here and that'll get you in touch with us. And we'll make sure that you get a chance to give this a test drive. Speaking of that, so is this something where people need to kind of set out a chunk of time, a few hours, to sit down and go through this whole thing? Sounds like it's pretty in-depth and fairly robust.
It's very in-depth, but they will go onto our website, they'll register and actually get their own little portal. So if it's something that they want to go ask a few questions and then they want to go think about it, they can do that. And the same information will be locked in there. They'll be able to pre-qualify themselves. Then maybe they have to go to a baseball game or a hockey game. And then they can come back and do matching. So the wonderful thing is that it's all there for them. Overall, it takes as long as the candidate wants it to. So if somebody has lots of questions, they can ask questions for 2 hours. If they know enough about franchising and they're ready to see if they're qualified, it takes a few minutes. If they're ready to match, probably about another 10, 15 minutes.
What about...
They can ask questions off script as much as they want.
Okay. You started to answer the question I was going to ask, I think. What about like knowing how much it costs for certain franchises? Is there a component that helps you figure out, well, if you're within this investment range, we'll take that into consideration, or does that need to be a separate phone conversation?
No, it takes it all into consideration. So we'll take a look at net worth, how much liquid they want to invest. If they're interested in getting a loan, it will help them figure out the calculation of what they can afford. If they're looking to talk to somebody, one of our funding partners, we can connect them with that as well. So it truly is an educational portal for them to get as much information as they want until they're ready to match and go forward.
Got it. Okay. What else should we know about this?
It is truly a wonderful place to go and just learn. Maybe you don't know if franchising is right for you, but you know you've always wanted to own a business. Mm-hmm. This is a great place to go in and just start asking questions and realize the power behind a franchise model and put that together as a great way to understand, what does it take? Do I have what it takes? And if I do, what does the perfect business look like for me?
Got it. And tying back to something that you said earlier, everybody gets their own private portal. Is that for confidentiality and privacy?
Absolutely. And, one of the big things that I had when I started this is I didn't want a directory and I didn't want a frequently asked question. I didn't want somebody to fall in love. We don't judge a book by its cover, right? Well, if I wanted a franchise 20 years ago and I've always wanted to be a business owner, if you would have told me I owned a franchise, honestly, I would have thought I bought Dairy Queen. So if I was looking at a directory, anything with ice cream, I would have checked it. Now I know that is absolutely the wrong model for me, but I wouldn't have known that ahead of time. So the beautiful thing about what we've done is it's this portal for them to continue to learn and come back to exactly where they were before and not have to catch up to where somebody else is or somebody else's frequently asked questions. It's all about them.
Question that I get a lot, and I know you probably get too, because we're in this franchise brokerage and consulting business, is, are there any other, I went to this place, I went to this restaurant, et cetera, in another state or whatever. Why aren't they here, or is there something else like it? Yeah. Can this help answer that question?
Absolutely. Okay. So we're also getting to a situation where we can start to look at franchises and what's available where by territory checking. Yeah. The other part of this is, hey, I've always wanted to own ABC franchise, but it's sold out in my market. What is like that? Maybe what has a similar role of the owner? A lot of the things that you ask when you start to go through the matching protocols, what do you enjoy doing? What did you like best about your last job? Mm-hmm. What did you like least? And those are tools that we can use to help match you, especially with your skill set. That's what makes successful franchisees.
Yeah. So again, taking all these decades of learning and experience and best practices and what's helped other people through a successful search and putting it all in one spot that is far more self-directed.
Absolutely. It's exactly what we're doing. Self-directed way. But you're not only with AI. You can go through the process. You can get connected with a consultant. That consultant can help you at any stage in the process as well. So it's just a great way to start learning.
So, if their search for franchise is really just their excuse because they want to have conversations with me, they can still do that? Is that what you're saying?
They can still do that. Everyone through that, they can click to connect to a broker or consultant. We're going to connect them, especially if they're reaching out to you ahead of time and now they're ready to talk to you. Maybe they weren't a year ago, but now they're ready. We're going to connect them right back with you.
This is fascinating. Can you say anything about what we might anticipate to come next? I know that this is nobody's done anything like this before, so it's very groundbreaking, but cat's out of the bag now, right?
Cat's out of the bag.
Anything else coming that you can tantalize us with? What's coming for Christmas, Tracy?
I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you, and then we'd have to do the same with all your listeners.
Okay.
But there's more coming. The beautiful thing about what we're doing is, and we've been so focused for 35 years at FranNet on metrics and what happens and what makes a successful owner. We're only going to get better from here because we're going to continue to stay focused on that.
Fantastic. I appreciate the answer. It was substantive, yet nobody's going to come hunting after me now, I guess.
I appreciate you asking, but we can't tell you yet.
No, I get it. Pay attention, right? Scan that QR code, see what's there, and get in contact with us. We'll show you how to plug into this, be one of the first ones, be one of the early adopters, and then you'll probably be one of the first ones to see what's coming next, see the future of searching for your own business.
Exactly.
And see, I'm getting that line down, getting really comfortable with it now. So
Really good.
Tracy, I know you have put you and your entire team have put an unbelievable amount of time and energy into not only building this and using the available technology to the greatest of its capacity, but then also making sure it's done right. So it really feeds people what they need to make a great decision. So I do want to say, not just thank you for being here, but thank you for all the effort you've put in. I sincerely believe that 10 years down the road, people are going to attach your name to, wow, do you remember when?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
it's been my pleasure to work on the project and to really do something that's in the prospect's best interest from the moment they log on. So hopefully they'll see that as well.
Yep. I'm excited to see the explosion in the field. I'm excited to see folks who may have been a little bit hesitant or not ready to talk to some gal or some guy, or just a little concerned about the confidentiality. This opens the door wide for them. So excited to see what happens there.
Yeah, me too.
And it's a great segue as a reminder again for anybody that fast forwarded through our organic start that my excitement has bubbled over to the point where it is time to reallocate how I spend my time, which means the Heartland Franchise Guy, as you know it today, will be sunsetting at least for a while. This will be one of our last episodes. That's why I was so excited to have Tracy here. Little known secret that only a few of you listeners probably know, Tracy was actually one of my trainers when I first got into the FranNet organization, when I became a franchise owner myself and started practicing what I was preaching. And if I've ever done right by anybody who's a listener, Tracy's fingerprints are all over that. So thank you, Tracy.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks to all of you listening to what is our second to last episode for now. Please, with this one, make sure that you not only subscribe, but follow and share and like. Share this with somebody who you think should know, hey, there's something new coming when it comes to finding your own business, and you need to know about this. So you run across that person that is looking for something more, wants to leave corporate America. They are a serial entrepreneur, and they're ready to look for their next thing, but they want to do it on their own time and in the most concise way possible. Share this episode with them. They need to know about this new product coming out. And for all of you, again, a thanks to our guest, Tracy Rickman, and thanks to you for listening to us and sharing with us on another episode of the Heartland Franchise Guy.